Welcome back, Focus Learners, to another edition of The Explainer. Today, we're popping the hood on modern computing to check out the absolute foundational magic of digital memory. You know logic gates let computers think and make decisions, right? But without memory, well, all that processing power is basically useless. We're going to see exactly how machines remember, starting from the literal smallest building block and scaling all the way up to artificial intelligence.
To really get why this matters, imagine a computer with total amnesia. Say you ask a processor to add 25 and 17. The logic gates, they can do the math, no problem. But before they even calculate the answer, they have to hold on to those inputs for just a split second. So, what happens if the computer forgets everything the exact second a calculation finishes?
Okay, let's dive into this. A world without memory circuits is, well, it's a world without modern tech. If a system can't hold data, you've got no operating systems running in the background, no apps, no documents, definitely no browser tabs with 100 pages open, and absolutely zero saved data. And perhaps most importantly right now, no artificial intelligence. Without a spot for the processor to stash information while it's working, the whole digital ecosystem just completely collapses. So, how do we fix it?
Section 1. 1 bit at a time. The flip-flop.
The flip-flop is the simplest and honestly the most important memory device ever made. It stores exactly 1 bit of info, a 0 or a 1. Think about a physical light switch in your room. You flip it on, it stays on, even after you take your hand away, right? A flip-flop behaves exactly the same way, just inside a circuit. It holds on to its binary value until it is explicitly told to change.
And this brings us to a brilliantly simple concept called state. See, normal logic gates just spit out answers based strictly on whatever is plugged into them right this second. But memory circuits introduce state, meaning their output relies on current inputs plus previous conditions. They pull this off using something called feedback. Engineers take standard NAND or NOR gates and wire them so the output feeds right back into the input. It's a continuous loop. Without that feedback loop, memory literally wouldn't exist.
If we look at how this evolved, one of the earliest designs was the SR flip-flop. That stands for set and reset. You set it to hold a 1 or reset it to hold a 0. Pretty straightforward. But modern processors, they use a beefed-up version called the D flip-flop. The D is for data. Instead of separate set and reset commands, it just stores whatever value is sitting at its input. But it only does this under one super specific condition.
And that condition is synchronization. A D flip-flop only grabs and stores that input data when a synchronized clock signal tells it to. A clock is just a repeating timing signal. Think of it like a conductor leading an orchestra. If every part of a computer just updated whenever it felt like it, you'd have complete and utter chaos. The clock keeps billions of flip-flops acting predictably and reliably together.
Section 2. Scaling up. The power of registers.
So, one flip-flop stores exactly 1 bit. But what happens when we need to juggle bigger numbers? Because 1 bit isn't getting us very far. Well, engineers group multiple flip-flops into blocks called registers. Group just 8 flip-flops together, and suddenly the processor can store an 8-bit value all at once. That bumps its capacity up to hold any number from 0 all the way to 255. Basically, a register is a tiny, lightning-fast storage cubby right inside the processor. It holds numbers, addresses, and intermediate math, like holding that 25 while you add 17 to it.
Which leads us nicely into Section 3, the computer memory hierarchy. Inside your machine, there's this endless tug-of-war between speed, cost, and capacity. At the absolute top, you've got registers. Since they're baked right into the CPU, they are blisteringly fast, but they're tiny and super expensive per bit. Step down one level, and you find cache memory, still very fast, sitting right next to the CPU. Below that is the RAM on your motherboard. This gives us way more room to breathe at a medium cost. And finally, the massive SSD or cloud storage. Much slower to access, sure, but incredibly cheap with massive scale.
Let's zoom in on that middle layer for a sec. System memory. The core idea of storing ones and zeros is exactly the same, but it's split into 2 main camps. First is SRAM, or static RAM. It uses transistor cells that are a lot like our flip-flops. It's incredibly fast, but bulky and pricey, so it's mostly used for those tiny CPU caches. On the flip side, no pun intended, is DRAM, or dynamic RAM. It requires a constant, periodic refresh just to keep its state. But it is way cheaper, and you can pack a ton of it into a small space. That's why almost all of your computer's main system memory is DRAM.
All right, Section 4, powering modern devices and AI. When you look at macro memory demands today, it is just staggering. A completely standard smartphone has billions of these tiny memory cells just to keep your apps and operating system running. But step up from that, and modern GPUs need massive memory capacity using advanced tech like HBM and GDDR to render graphics and crunch scientific data. And then, of course, there's AI. Large language models need hundreds of gigabytes, sometimes terabytes, just to hold their weights, parameters, activations, and huge sets of training data. AI simply would not exist without these advanced memory systems.
I love this progression because it shows a brilliant technological Russian nesting doll. You start with one tiny flip-flop holding a single bit. Group those into registers for the CPU's working memory. Scale that up into massive RAM and GPU memory systems. And finally, network thousands of those systems together into global cloud platforms running artificial intelligence. Every single layer of that stack relies on the exact same fundamental trick: maintaining binary state.
Before we wrap, let's do a quick Did You Know? To bust some common myths about what we've covered today. First up, processors absolutely cannot calculate without memory. They literally have to have a place to stash data temporarily. Second, registers are not the same thing as RAM. Registers live inside the CPU. They're vastly smaller and faster. Third, flip-flops, not obsolete at all. They are still the bedrock of modern processing. And finally, memory isn't just a filing cabinet for your photos, it actively holds the live instructions your processor is working on right this second.
Now, flip-flops laid the groundwork, but researchers are not stopping there. The future of memory is looking at some incredible horizons. We're talking MRAM, ReRAM, phase change memory, and these massive 3D memory architectures. They're even designing neuromorphic memory systems that actually mimic the human brain. All of this is geared toward making sure we have the insane speed and capacity to power the next generation of AI and computing.
So, we've cured the computer's amnesia. We know how it remembers using flip-flops, registers, and massive RAM arrays. But I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Remember how we said D flip-flops just sit there waiting for a clock signal to tell them to store new data? If you've got billions of memory cells all waiting for perfect synchronization, what exactly generates that relentless, perfectly timed heartbeat driving the whole machine? Think on that, because that is exactly what we'll be diving into on our next explainer. Thanks for hanging out, Focus Learners, and keep questioning how the world works.